that, hey, he's working closely with the new president already, talking trade, talking military, which I guess may indicate that Brazil might be buying some military equipment from the United States. But this is exactly the kind of dialogue I think you want with countries south of us. When you look at it through the prism, especially of the caravan that's headed toward our border, if these countries can improve upon their lifestyle, if their economy can be beefed up a little bit, if they can have more freedom and more liberty, then maybe they won't be so inclined to leave.
Well, you're exactly right. And I think, Graham, the untold story here is Brazil's actually the 5th country in Latin America to forsake socialist progressives. So you saw Chile do it years ago, as you know. Peru is next. Colombia with Ivan Duque recently. Argentina with Mauricio Macri. Now we have Brazil. 5 countries forsaking the left, moving to the center with free market supply side reforms, which mean lower tax rates, less regulation, deregulating, selling off government-owned enterprises. All that leads to growth. And the beautiful story here is that Latin America is a Garden of Eden, rich with resources and agriculture commodities. It has been basically punished for 70 years with bad government, and now it is awakening. I think it's fantastic, and I would not listen to the New York Times talk about this guy being far right. You may have read about his economic minister, this guy Paulo Guedes.
Yeah.
This guy studied at the University of Chicago, Graham, under Milton Friedman. Huh. He's got a very deep catalog of work that you and your readers, I mean, your listeners could look up and find a Bible of free market reforms. If this guy Bolsonaro follows this guy Guedes' advice, we're going to have a significant change not only in Latin America, but the world economy. It's great.
And if he's a disciple of Milton Friedman, he can't be all bad. Certainly Milton Friedman is one of the favorites of this program. Wish he were alive today, but we certainly have recordings of him, and we know his free market liberty principles live on well after, and hopefully they'll live on in perpetuity because they shout about liberty and freedom. And, you know, we have to also think about China in this perspective as well. You know, China's trying to get inroads in Africa, already is. And, you know, China could just as easily fill this void with their communistic doctrine. So, you know, bravo to constitutional, potentially constitutional, free market, conservative principles. And who knows, maybe what's happening in Germany right now might lead them to be just a little bit more of a constitutional republic. They're not a constitutional republic. I'm not saying that they are, but who knows? You know, because Merkel, you know, she has kind of guided them in a more of a socialistic kind of direction, and now she's announced that she's not going to seek another term. And I think this is important for the people of Germany, especially what they've been through the last 5, 6, 7 years with the influx of illegal immigrants coming into their country. I think this is going to be a much-needed shot in the arm if they can get someone who embraces liberty and freedom and German prosperity.
Well, I agree 100%. And I think, again, the Merkel situation is related to the guy, you know, Sebastian Kurz in Austria. You've read about him. He's also related to Emmanuel Macron in France, who is a free market reformer. And I think we've discussed that. Emmanuel Macron has gotten rid of the wealth tax. He's cut corporate tax rates. He's deregulated the labor markets. He's a supply side reformer that is lowering the cost of producing goods and services in France. In other words, the French economy is about to pick up steam. And so Merkel is related, I believe, even to Bolsonaro and Trump. I think it's a rejection of liberal elitism, big government spending, and, in fact, open borders. So it's probably positive, Graham. It's a big, important economy.
And who knows, whoever takes over for Merkel could be the next country that could potentially exit the EU. And if, of course, Germany leaves, then the EU is history. Thomas, thanks.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.